See that you're born an Italian if you want your life to be great. See that you're born an Italiano and your life will be great.
How about some Donadell?
That's a nice.
Hey there, Paisani, and welcome back to another episode of the Italian American Podcast. I'm John Viola, along with my partner in crime, the Italian American Wikipedia, Mr. Patrick O'Boyle. We are coming to you from the corner of Mulberry and Grand, in the heart of New York City's Little Italy, the crossroads of Italian America, here at Red Sauce Studios. Thank you for watching, listening, wherever you are. We would love a like and a subscribe. Everything supports this wonderful project here, the Italian American Podcast and Red Sauce Studio, and everything that we're trying to bring you, these great tokens of Italian American life and culture. We've got a really wonderful one coming up for you today. First and foremost, we're here in the dog days of summer. Feast season is descending. We've been having meetings about San Gennaro coming up in September. And
nobody invited me.
No, it's the T-shirt meetings. You don't want to be at the T-shirt meetings, do you?
No.
Our latest designs, all the important...
I would like to be at the entertainment meetings.
You should take on it. Please feel free.
No one calls me for those.
Oh, here we go. Get the violin.
Because I have that grand vision.
You do.
Listen,
I
want to do that huge concert.
Work with Jenna.
I want to do that Kitty Grotta.
Let's go. Come on.
Pavarotti and friends.
Stopping you. Go to town. We got.
No, I've never been empowered. I don't step on toes.
No, that's true. You're right. You look for permission. That's true.
I have very.
We're going to empower you tonight when we're done with this.
Yeah. Yes, sister. No, sister. Unless I'm told.
We are the sponsors for the main stage at the Feast of San Gennaro, and part of that means we work on the scheduling. And so,
I want to have a big, like the Boston Feast do. Boston Feasts have those huge.
Those are your favorite feasts.
The Boston's the best.
Yeah. We're going to talk a lot about the Boston Feast today. We've got a really, really wonderful guest, fifth generation of family ownership. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, Mark Tosi is here. He's the president and owner of Pastene, as we would say here in Italian America. You might say Pastene in Italy, from Boston, a fantastic company. I'm sure all of us know this product line and branding and the packaging, and you've seen it all over. I'm sure wherever you are in Italian America, it's a brand that all of us are very
you all over the country?
With.
We are somewhat all over the country. You won't see us so much on the West Coast, but we are very strong in Florida and the southern states and in Kroger out in the Midwest, and extremely strong in the Northeast and Eastern Canada.
Oh, in Canada as well.
We've been in Canada since 1908.
Oh, wow. That's pretty, yeah. So this is a brand that I think much of our listenership is familiar with. This is what I would call an heirloom brand for Italian America. So we're really happy to have you come all the way from Boston, the capital of Italian American feasts, to come down and talk to us. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we do celebrate Boston's feast culture all the time. And we were talking a little bit off mic.
We're going to get crucified by somebody, because that's what people like to do.
That we have a favorite?
No, we have to.
Well, that's your favorite, by the way. I've never been to one.
I want to make and it's no. I just want to be definitive in what I say. I believe in total.
No, look directly in the camera.
Hello?
Speak to the feast people. Go.
I believe in total, the feasts collectively have best been preserved in Massachusetts, and I would say maybe Rhode Island. I'll put them as one unit. So there are parts of the country where things have held on. But like Chicago, the biggest feast in the country was Mount Carmel and Melrose Park.
Mm-hmm. I've been to that.
Yeah, and Marty Caliendo, who we had on when we had the Feast Band episode, he just posted on Facebook like pictures of what the Melrose Park Mount Carmel Feast was in the 90s. It was it was undisputed the biggest in the country in every sense, and now it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. All they have left is the procession.
There's no. I went there. I guess it's 20 plus years ago.
Gone.
Wow.
I cannot understand. There's a lot of politics. It's an Italian.
Sure.
But yeah, it's gone.
I mean, the feasts. We were talking off mic, and somebody said to you, what are the feasts in Boston? You said it's basically one every weekend in the summer, right? Is that correct?
Pretty close, yes.
But the biggest is the Fisherman's Feast.
Fisherman's and St. Anthony's.
Right, St. Anthony's. That one, I haven't come to any of them. I have to come up for
You
something.
come on, you really haven't?
No, because
Ever?
No, I've never been. I've been to the North End a bunch of times, but
God.
never. I know. I'm remiss in my. I'm going to lose my credentials.
Gotta go.
As a
No,
guy,
really, anybody, you have to go.
and it's right around my birthday too. It's not,
There's so have you haven't gone to any in Boston?
No.
It's like
Then come to the Fisherman's.
I should. Well, I have a special reason to come to the Fisherman's this year because this is the first time. Pastene has been around for 100 and what? 100 and
We're just ending our 150th year.
wow. All right,
Yes.
that's 1874, correct?
Yes.
So 150
Oh, wow.
years.
Yes.
As a company here in the United States, this will be the first time you guys are doing a feast.
A major feast.
Major
We
feast.
did Boston's San Gennaro, which was very small last year, to get our feet wet, to try to prepare to do a feast of this size. And it's also their 115th anniversary.
Oh wow.
So it's a big deal for them as well, for that feast. So we're looking forward to it because it also is adjacent to the street where Pastene was founded in the North End. So
Which is what?
it's our neighborhood, Fulton Street
Fulton Street. Now, where are you guys headquartered now?
in Canton, Massachusetts. We're just about a half an hour away. But in the North End of Boston, way back in the day, people by certain streets were from wherever they came from, what town.
Right.
So Fulton Street was for the Genovese, which is the Pastene family was Genovese. So
Oh, that's so interesting.
Really?
yes,
Because the reason I say that is because if you look, the Genovese were here 1st in a mass immigration sense. I mean,
correct.
there were people here even in Manhattan, Italians, at the time of the American Revolution. But even here, even Philadelphia, St. Mary Magdalene de Pazzi was created as a Genovese parish.
So was
I'm correct.
what's it called over here, right?
Well, Pompeii was on Bleecker Street,
Right.
but that was later
I got
because they had Southerners and Northerners in the same place. St. Francis in Hoboken, I think that's 1887. I don't want to misquote it.
That's half of Sinatra's family, right? Dolly was Genovese.
Dolly was Genovese, but that was a Genovese parish. They were in the cigar business in Jersey City and New York. But that's fascinating. The reason I say it because it makes sense that the oldest Italian. Are you the oldest? I mean, I can't think
We
of
are.
anyone who's
Well,
older
we
than
don't
you.
know anybody that's, certainly still in business. But for example, you're talking about the old days. Luigi Pastene arrived in Boston in 1848.
Now, who was he to you?
He was Pietro Pastene, who founded Pastene, his father. So he came and to feed his family, he had a pushcart, produce.
And that's,
And
your
that's-
great grandfather.
That's 6 generations.
6 times.
But
great.
that is in your bloodline.
Yes.
Wow, that's an empire.
Yes.
That's how monarchies start.
So-
So that you're 6 generations
Correct.
in this business, and your proto ancestor who starts this, he gets to Boston in 1848.
Yes. And then his son, Pietro, started the company. He went from a pushcart to wholesale produce. And then as the push of Italians were coming in, there was, requests for other items from Italy, just like Mr. Pastene, you have the connections. So it started with olive oil, the classic story. And then was followed by wheels of cheese and then all the other different products after that.
What are you most known for?
Probably today would be our tomatoes.
Your tomatoes.
Yes. So would be our Italian, the DOP, San Marzano, and then my California kitchen-ready tomato.
What's the difference?
Well, the California kitchen-ready is made from it's a hybrid tomato, but it's made to it's very rich in meat, low in seeds. It peels fairly easily, but it travels very well. So it's peeled, then it's crushed. After it's been sorted very clear, there's no green tomatoes, there's no rotten anything in there. So the sorting is very important. So after the peel, it is ground, and then as it's being canned, they top it with puree, and it gives it this incredible fresh flavor. It was started in the early 1960s because. Excuse me, the Italians, to grind the tomato, add the tomato paste, and do all this work, it was a step that took all that work out of it. So all you had to do was open a can. Depending on the cook, it was either too thick or it could be too thin. People would either add water or some people would add tomato paste.
Got it.
Why they added tomato paste, I'll never know because you don't need it. But that's that tomato. And then the San Marzano, of course, is probably the most talked about from Italy.
Yes.
And the DOP certified, unlike there's other ones that are saying certified or San Marzano style or whatever else, they have nothing in common with this tomato because of the soil that's the volcanic soil around Vesuvius,
Right.
which gives it that incredible flavor.
So these are the DOP. They come out of the soil of Vesuvius. When did you add these?
We've had these for, we've had these before they were even recognized as DOP Sangiovese.
That's what I was going to ask
What's
you.
about 20, 30 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think, maybe this is a provocative question, because I've come on here and said, like, I remember...
Only on this show you get a provocative tomato question,
No,
by the way.
I remember waking
You're
up...
not going to get that other
One
crowd.
thing is, like, my grandmother used to talk about, it must have been like when people invented the electric light, about when you didn't have to jar, because my grandmother was obsessed. My grandmother was paranoid from jarring tomatoes, because when she was a kid, a whole family got wiped out by poorly jarred stuff at home. So my grandmother was paranoid, but she said, when they could buy a can of tomatoes, it was like the whole world changed. She was so happy.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
It's
Yeah.
a game changer. But can you imagine jarring tomatoes when you had to do it with the crank?
Everybody
Everybody does the electric machine now.
No, it's a lot of work with the electric machine. I mean,
No. But I mean, you open a can of my kitchen ready tomatoes, it's like tomatoes in August, September. It's so fresh tasting. I mean, it just jumps out at you. So all those people that do all that incredible work of growing their tomatoes and canning their tomatoes and doing all that work, all you have to do is buy a can of tomatoes.
Do you put the basil leaf inside? Does it come with the basil leaf?
There's kitchen ready. We have an option with basil. The San Marzano definitely has the basil.
that's pretty amazing.
Because like I was saying, the San Marzano, it's like we woke up one day and then that became like, we were all told that's what we had to use. Like
It's
everything
true.
else was like verboten.
Well, no,
And
because
they came in
we
and-
sell regular Italian tomatoes in a can. They're very nice, but they don't have the same flavor.
No, I think that's what I'm saying. I think that the American, I mean, like, again, people are going to go bananas, but I think there's some Marzanos are great, some are not great. Some American tomatoes are excellent. The Italians will never say that. They will never give us.
I agree with you. I
But
mean,
I'm all about diversity,
I like
tomato diversity.
I like the history of these products, right? Like, I see you brought all this stuff. You've got pastina, right? So pastina. How long have you guys made this?
50 years?
50 years. Is this a popular product?
Very.
What was your reaction to the great Ronzoni scare a couple of years ago where they
It
sort of...
was a wonderful business opportunity.
It was a
for
great
me.
business opportunity, wasn't
God
it? Yeah.
bless America.
Only second to COVID.
Really? Is that true? Yeah.
Oh my God, COVID was fantastic for us.
Why?
Everybody believes Italy shut down first. That but nothing was going to happen. Well, commerce didn't stop. We were getting product almost as fast as we could possibly get it, and the supermarkets for us were wiped out.
Wow.
For example, you could take Barilla. They were trying to push out so much pasta that they had to cut down their variety to maybe 12 different shapes of pasta because they didn't want to stop the machine and change it because they just had to keep the stores full. So all of a sudden, the pasta section, other sections, because people were buying anything, all this space was wide open. So we basically went into the stores saying, we have all the product you need.
Wow.
And they're like, please spread it out. We hate people
Really?
looking like for the shelves being so empty. There were products I was trying to discontinue. All of a sudden came back.
Is that
again.
right? Give us examples.
What were you
if
trying to
can,
discontinue?
Not
We
to-
had some of these old products that, that people don't really buy anymore. We have like these pepper salad and these vinegar peppers.
Oh, the vinegar peppers are the best.
Well, this one was not. It was like a garlic pepper. It was not a fantastic
yeah.
thing. It was an old style thing.
Yeah.
So some of those products, but all of a sudden, our packer said, I can keep packing it for us, so let's do it. So we did it because we had to keep the shelves open, full. And it was amazing. It was an amazing couple of years that it was a great marketing tool, I hate to say,
No,
from
that's
what
true.
happened
It's
to
very
people.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, like yourself, you said, COVID was a horrible time. For business, for food, if you had product, it was amazing.
That's really, I never thought of it that way.
No.
And the pastina scare, all kidding aside, did you see an uptick in, because I feel like it was particularly because it took off on social media.
Right.
I feel like a lot of Italian Americans who maybe had not been so active in buying the product, no matter what brand, sort of were reminded of how important it was to their psychology, and it seemed like a rebirth in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. That was some of the best marketing for pasta, especially the pastina or any of the soup cuts you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Was the Ronzoni story. It was everywhere.
That's amazing, isn't it?
God forgive me for saying this. What's not the Grand Central? What was the other train station in New York?
Penn Station.
When Penn Station was torn down
Yes.
and everyone froze, and then preservation laws came into the city, right? I feel that the Pastene scandal was the exact same thing. Because then we people called us. I mean, really, it was like a real issue.
Yeah.
And our retort back was, if you had kept buying it, this wouldn't have been an issue. They discontinued for a reason. Like, and and that's part of our drumbeat. Like, go to the pork store. Take the ride, support these brands, because what happens is, it's like the Italian bakery. They buy the cheap cake at Costco, or they buy the cheap cake at the supermarket, right? Because they want to save a few bucks. And then when the Italian bakery closes, they're jumping on the casket screaming. And then, this was not, let's do the math on this. So I think that was a really big, at least I hope it was the moment.
I hope so.
When people realize that if we don't go out and support these brands, one day we won't have them. Or these niche products.
Well, also, because there's so much data available, these supermarkets, if you're not moving a product at a certain level, they're going to discontinue.
Yeah.
And between slotting and other things, that the costs to do business in these supermarkets,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. So to give up that SKU in a store is a big deal.
Yeah, I
So
learned that, and I did an investment with my brother on a hot dog company. COVID did not do well by that. And we ended up moving on from it. But I learned a lot about SKUs and shelf space and the competition. And, you can't change a SKU, right? You can't just say, like, data says we're too big, now let's go small. Can't do that, right? So it's very, very difficult. And there's a lot of, I don't want to say politics, but thought and negotiation around shelf space and display, right?
Absolutely. And again, it's because they have so much data. They know how much it's moving per store, per square inch, how much space it's taking up.
It's
So, I mean, if these stores are not that big, or they have that certain turn, they'd rather find something else that's going to sell better.
you talk about discontinued products. We're like scavengers for this stuff, right? I keep having met you when you came in today. You've got a Massachusetts accent, but it's not the sort of like stereotype accent. It's an elevated Massachusetts accent. I say that with a lot of respect and affection, because we always say we're going to be like the last two Brahmins who telling stories about these things, because we are.
When the accent dies with me, Jersey going to die with me. Put a big yellow flag.
Especially
on me.
you have a lot of touchstones of Jersey that people would mistake for New York and Brooklyn. That's
No,
solely
but we
New
do,
Jersey.
because Hudson County,
I
New
know.
Jersey. So for those of you who have not heard this from me 18,000 times,
Yes.
as per NPR, who mimics us, Hudson County, New Jersey, is considered linguistically or dialectally, I'm not sure the correct word, part of the 5 boroughs. We are the 6 boroughs in.
But closer to a Brooklynese
Yeah, correct. Because
than a
we had,
Manhattan accent.
because we had the ferries that went back and forth to Brooklyn before they opened the tunnel.
Like you say castle. That's how my
Castle,
family would
yeah.
say. I don't even
Correct.
say that. Yeah, but
and
there's
I
a
will
lot
speak like this till the day I die. I'll
Yeah.
be the last Brahmin
yeah.
on that hill.
But the point around the last Brahmins,
How do we get in these we're talking about macaroni.
Well, my point that I wanted to make was we are collectors of the sort of rare and heirloom. Are there any products that you guys have discontinued? I was looking on my iPad because I was doing work last night in preparation for this, and you actually brought, which is amazing, one of these calendars from 1937. And I have some in my collection from probably the 40s and 50s. And I was looking in particular at one from 1949. You can see here beautifully illustrated all the different products. But the offerings in 1949 were extensive. Even like Fernet, was described
Branca.
as a medicinal.
Can I see that? I didn't even see
This
it
is
when I
not
came
this.
in.
Is what I'm
Well,
talking about.
that's
But
not
yeah,
it.
you can see this. But my question is, out of these discontinued products, is there any that you sort of long for, you have an affection for, something that's no longer available from the company?
Well, not some of those I had as kids, but I mean, we did everything from canned string beans, canned corn, canned peaches. Those are not in our mix anymore.
Right.
I mean, everything that we sell now is more Italian or Mediterranean diet.
Right.
So a lot of those products go. But you have to remember that Pastene made it through 3 wars. One was the Civil War, and then 2 world wars.
That's crazy.
And a depression. And there was times where we had access to products that other people may not be able to. So we were canning things to supply people that needed food
Right.
when it was available. So a lot of those products, needless to say, don't exist anymore in our mix.
Right. Because they're not part of the sort of DNA of the company. They were
No,
there
not at
because
all.
there was a demand and people.
And I'm sort of glad that we're not in those. If you see what's going on with Del Monte right now,
No, I don't. What's,
How did Del Monte get into this?
are they going under?
they're bankrupt. Yes, but it's the canned beans, the canned corn, all that stuff right now. Their debt and everything else. And again,
Are they owned by private equity?
I don't believe so, but I'm not sure.
I just found a
honestly
great
don't
book
know.
on that. I mean, a family company is a very different thing than some of these.
Well,
you know.
again, when we're one that's, there aren't many left.
No, there's not
I mean,
many
if you
left.
think about Prince Spaghetti and all these other companies, they've moved on. They've been bought by Borden or other,
Yeah.
some conglomerate. We've been able to be very fortunate to keep it directly in our family.
What's that mean to you? I mean, I remember you talk about Prince and Ronzoni and one of my most beloved that is completely different than it was when it was family owned, which is Stella d'Oro cookies or
Sure.
Medaglia d'Oro coffee. These are the ones and of course you guys, I think it was the sort of Italian American heirloom companies, right? Or at least brands, because again, some of them are just part of craft.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the documentary when I was in school called No Contract, No Cookies, about the closure of the factory here in the Bronx for Stella d'Oro. And we had talked about Stella d'Oro, my affection for it, on an episode. And somebody wrote us and said, you should really be talking about the fact that when the family sold, this conglomerate came in and they closed the factory and they busted the union and this and all. It was horrible, right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of Italian Americans, but people of all backgrounds, lost their livelihoods. As a family company, how do you see your sort of place and responsibility? Like, if you got this offer to sell a company like yours, is it more about the people? You have a big responsibility.
Because I'm sure you got a little bit of that father of the family.
Right.
Well, I am. And, I have 3 kids coming along and that are all foodies. And, when you've had something for 150 years, I mean, it's a long time. Think about actually 1874 when Pastene was actually founded. It was 2 years before Custer's last stand.
Yeah.
Think about what was going on in the world. Forget about when Luigi Pastene came in 1848.
Forget about it.
In 1874, I mean,
Lincoln's body wasn't cold, really. It was 9 years.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because, one, I love the business, don't get me wrong, but because it's so many years, I want my family to continue it.
Yeah.
There's not enough money to do that. You can't, pass that along. My kid's biggest complaint is we used to be very big in the wine business, and we sold that in the early 90s. And my father was incredible at discovering some of the best producers in Italy nobody had heard of. And so I got to travel most of Italy and study wine and food because they went together beautifully. And I had a very good time. It was another lifetime ago, but it was absolutely incredible. The kids loved the food business, but it's like the wine would be pretty nice too. But, unfortunately, that's not happening anymore. So
That might be their chapter.
I know.
When they
That's
take
right.
the
That
helm.
might be their chapter.
Right.
Yeah. Now, when you were selling wine, was it sold under the Pastene label?
We had our own label. It was produced in California. And also every restaurant cooked with our Marsala.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that, actually, don't I?
And we actually had a Madeira, but
Yes.
we were mostly jug wines.
Yeah.
That was the
I love a good
day
jug
of
wine.
the Italian jug wine.
I still love a jug wine.
I still love a jug
I love
wine,
a jug
too.
wine.
What do you
Absolutely.
drink now? That you don't have your own. What's your brand? What's your go-to brand? Give an endorsement if you can.
I don't really drink wine anymore.
there you go.
I don't know what's wrong with my old age, but wine and I don't agree. I hate to say that.
I get
but
headaches
I'm-
from red wine now.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, mind you, my father discovered Angelo Gaia. I mean,
Oh, wow.
to have those wines in the basement, it's kind of like I'm saying to my kids, going, "You got to drink this for me. I'll take a sip of it, but I can't drink it
Yeah.
anymore." So,
But they like
Okay.
the business, your kids.
oh, they love the business. Yes,
That's wonderful.
They're all in their own area now, and they're going to be coming back. Hopefully in the next couple of years. So,
That's excellent.
because I prefer, unlike myself, I went right into the company. They need to work for other people, get a taste of what working for people is all about versus working for the family. And
Yeah.
That's such an Italian, the apprenticeship mentality, because the town I grew up in, New Jersey, we had Joe Polari was a barber and Joe Bianchi was a barber. And they told me the story that their fathers were both barbers in town. This is like the war years, the 50s. And they both wanted to be barbers. But I guess at that time with the barbers union, you had apprentice.
Yeah, I imagine.
So they were swiped. You couldn't apprentice for your own father. So they swiped sons. But it was a good experience, they said, because it wasn't, when you got to work for
Right.
somebody else, you can't, it's not the same interaction as like a dad. And that always stuck in my head. There's value to that.
yeah, that's very true.
I agree.
Do they have different, Because I guess when you have because what fascinates like Italian family businesses, whatever profession whatever you graduate, whatever degree, they'll find a job for you in the company. If you're a doctor, you're the doctor for the company. Everybody.
Yeah, that's very true. They have concentrations that they like?
Well, yeah, I have one that is catering to the private jets in Florida right now in Nantucket. I have another one who she is a genius, was going to be a doctor, but has decided to do other things, and she's just a little genius. And the other one is big into marketing and data. So they all have skills that will be
translatable.
Absolutely translatable.
And very, very important, especially at the top of a company, right? Like my dad always said to me, from his experience starting companies, if you want to own a restaurant, start by learning how to wash dishes. You really need to know every piece of what's going on in a business, and that doesn't always happen when you come in from a family. You know what I mean? It's easy to lose that contextual understanding, really, really deep understanding. So it's good that everybody kind of goes. They
don't, and some of these businesses don't have all the jobs. I mean, I worked on the trucks delivering. I was in the warehouse, schlepping containers. When it's 100 degrees out like this, you're throwing cases of tomatoes that weigh 50 pounds, and the union guys are standing around laughing because the owner's sons are out here getting their butts kicked.
That's good.
But now you understand every aspect of the business.
There's no question. And I was a salesman in the North End, but also I sold the top hotels and restaurants in Boston as well. So I had the full flavor.
You understand how the trucking works. You understand how the warehouse works. You understand how the sales work.
Yes.
So when someone comes in with a complaint, they can't get it past you because you've been there, done that.
You can't tell me something I haven't heard or done.
How do you quality control? Like, how do you maintain consistent? Because, like these brands to us, right? I always say, if you lose an heirloom brand or the quality suffers, it gets sold, whatever, you might find an equivalent type of, cookie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get the same joy of the packaging, the smell, the exact taste, right? That's what taps into our most animal nature, is really those memories that come from taste and smell is the most important thing, right? So you guys have a responsibility to the customer base in some sense to maintain consistency. How do you do that over generations?
Well, I mean, one is learning to know what a great product is. But for example, when the tomatoes are being harvested, somebody is camped at that plant, basically tasting tomatoes every hour.
Wow.
Then they're canned, and then you wait 3 months, and then you taste them again and get rid of any lots that are unacceptable until you bring it down to what is exactly what's acceptable. So the same thing in my building in Boston, we have one person, I should say a number of people, but we have one room where every product that comes in, whether it's a container from Italy or a truck from California, random cans come out or jars and they're sampled.
Wow.
And we have, products from the past and new products. And so there's always a standard. And our standards are very high. And if they don't meet it, they're rejected.
Wow.
We have to do that because, again, the competition in the world today is huge.
Yeah.
And you can't survive. I mean, a lot of people do try to sell junk, excuse me.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I mean, but the thing is, I'd love to sell every school system in the United States, but they can't afford my tomatoes because they're not going to sell that kind of quantity.
Yeah.
That quality. So, that's what it is. I mean, there's a whole different, cycle on what can be sold, what can't be sold, and who you're going to sell it to.
That's kind of what we encountered with the hot dog company, actually, was we were like a very premium product with a unique shape and weight. And basically the conclusion, none of us had any background in this business, so the conclusion was like, if you want this thing to keep going, you're going to have to just substantially lower the quality. And nobody wanted to do that. So okay, that's the niche that we're in, and you find other ways. But it's a constant battle, because I feel like my wife and I were grocery shopping for our kids last night when I got home from work. And my wife is very devoted to awareness around seed oils and all these different things. And I used to sort of come from the back from the position of like, well, we ate it as a kid, it's not going to harm them. And she pointed out to me, no, a lot of these brands, although we always knew they were not necessarily, health food, they've completely changed their ingredients and gone to some very, very questionable stuff and just assume the consumer doesn't question because they've been around for 100 and whatever years. But there's a huge gap at this point in the country that we're seeing where it's just continually squeezing the size of product, the quality of product, replacing with these chemicals and oils and hybrids. And I'm sure that's a temptation for particularly a family business, right? But
but there's no temptation for us because most of our products is a base product. We do have finished pasta sauces, which are very good. My best one is actually a DOP from Italy. But there's nothing in there. I mean, they're all low in sodium. Sodium, in so many products, whether you buy a can of soup today, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Or different things. But there's no chemicals or anything you're going to find in these products. So, I mean, that's very important. Most of these are a base that you're going to use instead of, you're buying something finished, whether you're going to go buy frozen food, frozen pizza, whatever else. They have to do a certain amount of things. One, to get the price where they're going to be accepted. And two, the product's going to last.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not sell anything perishable. So I'm not into meats. I'm not into cheeses, anything else. So it's easier for me because everything has usually a shelf life of 12 to 18 months minimum.
What is
and that makes my life a lot easier too.
Can you answer a realistic question? Because I had to fight my wife all the time. I'll buy something, right? Like I'll buy like this jar here, right? Which this is like marinated mushrooms. All right, I'll go to the store and I'll see it. And I'll say, next time somebody comes over, and it may sit in the pantry. And she'll go in there like a robot, and I said the expiration date, and she throws it out, and it drives me absolutely crazy. She is all about the sell-by date. Can you give us a realistic approach to like your health and safety?
Yeah, in a lot of cases, the best buy it's sort of a way to keep the product moving. I mean, if you look at these people that are expecting the next nuclear battle. Some of these products, our beans, our tomatoes, some of these will last 25 years.
That's what I'm getting at. Like she's throwing stuff out like it's going to kill us if we open it. That's more of a.
I mean, the things with as long as no air is getting to it. I mean, olive oil, after a while, it's going to lose its flavor, different things like that. But most of these products are good for a long time. I mean, olive oil, the biggest threat to olive oil is light and heat. You keep them away from that. This can will be good for a very long time.
When you guys make olive oil, it's your own source. Is it like how do you handle olive oil? You don't.
We don't. We work with the same company we've been working with for 100 years.
Wow.
And we have a blend that we are very happy with. So this one, for example, you don't even see pure olive oil as much as.
No, I was going to say that was what I was leading at. Yeah.
But this is a oil that you want to cook with every day. People are using extra virgin for everything. It's like you don't need that flavor a lot of times. You need the olive oil, but you don't need an extra, the strong flavor of it. This is better for cooking every day. And it's this item that, every family in Boston at one time, every Italian family anyways, used. And then the only thing you could buy was extra virgin.
Right.
I mean, it sort of got to a place where
it's like the DOP San Marzano. Someone came off the mountain and said, "This is what you need. This is
what you're going to have
it's
now."
It's like when Broccoli Rob overtook Scudol, and all of a sudden you're like, "Well, I don't understand
that's
what happened."
Say, what has happened to Scudol?
Right.
It was just excommunicated. It was just driven out of.
I'll never forget. We had dinner at Rayo's, and Joey, the gentleman the maitre d' manager, whatever you want to call it, was at the table, and they started talking, and here's this 100-some-odd-year-old restaurant with the vast sort of bank of knowledge, and Pat was trying to get through when did escarole become kind of
That's become like crusade in life.
It has, right? Revive Scudol.
To save Scudol.
Yeah, that's very true. But a lot of this
Go
stuff
ahead,
is
I'm sorry.
No, I was getting to like a lot of this stuff is we've kind of lost sense or track of how and why we use the things we do, and why we always say, like, on our show, you hear a lot of people talk about the preservation of Italian America, of our culture.
Right.
For this, it's like, it's not preservation; it's evolution. And if you lose sight of the sacred and get trapped by the profane, you're gonna run yourself in circles out of a really living culture, right? So, like, the idea that we should understand a little bit about why we put the things we do in our food, and how you approach with balance.
You need to have that can, because that is a child's job. I had that job. My grandmother would have olive oil bottles that she washed out and cleaned.
Yeah.
And there was a stress because God forbid almighty, but she would never take out. If you take out the plastic spigot on top, you can pour them in much easier.
Yeah.
I learned that as an adult. But she kept the plastic spigot of the washed bottle out. She washed it in it. I'm sorry. So the plastic spigot was in it. So then when you pour that, you got to pour it meticulously.
That's right.
Like I look, because God forbid almighty, a drop got on the bottle that you wasted that bottle.
Absolutely.
That's a job. Job number 3 is the string on the pastry. As I said, right? That was Brajol string. And that was before. Now they're going after red dye. You know how much red dye I got?
I didn't even think about
Because my
that.
grandmother was cooking the Brajol with that red dye string.
I hope it's not
Right?
the red dye they're talking about.
I got
'cause
red
we're all
dye.
in big trouble if that's
And
the
I had to
case.
take that string.
That's
That
boiled
was
in
that
every
was
sauce.
Dave.
Yeah.
That was the original Rubik's cube. You had to sit there. People, I get PTSD
It
when
is
I
a
see people cut that
dexterity
string.
test. Yeah, you're right.
So you had to don't do that. And the other thing was the cheese grater.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Cheese that great because you had to grate that cheese down to the very end. You always had. I got scars on knuckles. Right?
I'm with you.
Right, and
I got 'em.
these are the 3 childhood activities. If you want to continue the culture, don't worry about taking your kid to Tuscany.
That's right.
Because you may not be able to afford that, but you can afford having your kid great cheese.
Make your kid work. Yeah. that's
Yeah,
true.
undo the string.
You know, you talk about the traditions and the jarring. They're like it is the truth, right? Getting kids involved with this kind of stuff and understanding our food culture and understanding how that's a huge opportunity for people that want to engage. And you look at this stuff here, and if it makes you feel warm and fuzzy and you're familiar, and think about the fact that if you don't cook this way, you don't take time for those meals, you don't kind of prioritize the family opportunity, you're cutting that off for future generations. That's a huge gap in, people say to me all the time, like, oh, why don't we preserve this stuff? And, well, as you're complaining about preservation, remind yourself that you're prioritizing soccer practice on a Sunday instead of time together as a family. That's what it's all about. That's not about exactly doing exactly what Nona did. It's about being together and eating good food, good quality food that people can attach to.
Because your kid is not going to get into that Ivy League school.
Well, maybe they.
I hate to break it to you. You spend your whole weekend
Well, they're definitely not going to the NBA.
going
right?
from
That's
they're not
like
going
a
to
one
the
in a million
NBA.
shot,
Maybe if one of you's made it, we're gonna give you a free can of oil. If you all those weekends you spent driving from the traveling team and the county team and this team, if your kid got into an Ivy League school full ride, we're gonna send you a can of Pastene because we hear that story constantly.
Yeah.
But peer pressure. But think about this: your father. I want to quote your father. You can feed a family on pasta fazool.
That's absolutely right.
Right?
Yeah.
Really, and people have hard times. Inflation's up.
Yep.
You're out of a job. Whatever it happens, you got oil.
Yep.
You got the tomatoes. They don't do fresh products with the garlic, the vasnigo, whatever you do. You have to get that on your own, right? You have other lines besides the pastina, right? Of pasta lines.
Oh, no, we have a full pasta line.
Right,
Yeah,
full
we have-
pasta line.
We have 25
right?
shapes, yep.
You could feed an army.
You believe that shapes make a difference in taste?
The taste, no. What they do, they're fun. For example, bucatini with a white clam, it's more fun than a linguine because you know what? When you're doing it, it almost acts like a straw.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what? And it takes some of the lighter sauces in, especially a wine base or oil base. But it gets into the pasta.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about the brass dye versus non-brass dye. A lot of, again, is marketing.
Yeah.
I can cook them both for you, and I don't think you'll know the difference
I would imagine
once I
you
serve it
wouldn't,
to you.
Yeah.
So, it's a matter of even like the can. The cans are coming back because, again, bottles are, you got glass and you got heat, and you must remember that these you use to stick the ice pick in there so you could pour them.
They were under the sink.
Right.
I don't know why my
But
grandmother.
you had to know how much your family used
Yes.
because if you had a can this big, you had to make sure you use it before it went bad. So if we had cans this big.
Yeah. I have cans. I don't have Pastene, but I have some cans from the turn of the century that were all different sizes.
I've got them all, even like the
Yeah.
old anchovy cans and all the different things that go in the different sizes. But
This is so beautiful. Really,
is,
look at
isn't
it, right?
Not classic.
And I love the classic, but look at the motto in the back, right? So you saw the awards that they had won, right? You see the front, but I love the back. I love the back because it says, "Fortitudo mea in puritate." My strength is in purity.
Lift it to the camera.
No, look at the back of the can. So you see the front of the can, right? So you have the medals that they won. What year? I got to get my reading glasses.
1922.
Right, you were around a long time. 1900, 1922. That's a long time. They got from the Italian government a gold medal, but the Italian government that's a long time ago.
It is.
And I love the motto in the back. So you have the lily, the sign of purity, right? Fortitudo mea in puritate. My strength is in purity.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sentiment.
You think that's in the Bible? That sounds very biblical.
That might be.
There's somebody out there going to know that. If not, you could pass it off, right? It's pretty.
Yeah. And it's funny.
And were you here when I told you what the Pastene saying was back then?
You have to. We had that off air. I was here.
That's a good.
You got to
good
tell
point.
all the people out there in podcast land.
Well, no. I mean, because, excuse me, Pastene is actually Pastene in Italian. It was chi mangia bene usa prodotti Pastene.
So we could use Pastene products.
Yes.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
And again, we have a lot of non-Italian listeners. Why they listen to us, I'll never understand. We have Norwegians. They're beautiful people, but again, I've never listened to a Norwegian podcast, right? all this stuff. It's at the heart of who we are, because how many of kids don't know shkadol because people go into 8,000 different activities after school, and you don't have the grandmother at home cooking, right? You're getting stuff from all these takeout places. And I know I'm going to get stoned for this one, but that doesn't build a culture.
No, it's true.
This is who we are. If it matters, some people doesn't matter. We have to prioritize these things.
We were talking off air as we get to the end of our time, but one of the things we've been talking about, and we hinted a little bit in the beginning and touched on it, is the upcoming Fisherman's Feast in Boston.
I was just going there.
Yeah,
100%.
and you're talking about the idea of passing on culture, and as you look forward to really the first major feast that you guys have joined in as a sponsor, and you've been an icon of the community, particularly in Boston, for 150 years. Why now?
Well, I just think that the younger consumer is taken too much by social media, TV, whatever else, and they don't really know food. So this is an opportunity, a grand opportunity for me to sample, where I could go to 100 supermarkets and set up a table, and how many people really care. This is really a food event. We'll have chefs coming in cooking sauce, and there's a meatball competition, and there's all sorts of food going on. But at the same time, where I can sample products that most people, they walk by my section in the supermarket and probably have no idea. Their parents may know, their grandmother may know, but they're like, I don't know. I bet it's probably pretty good, but I've never tried it. It's my opportunity. And there's certain simple things where we're trying to make things more convenient because, everybody's going to jarred sauce or one thing or other. I mean, believe it, tomato paste in a tube.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
How big of a deal is that?
It's fantastic.
How many cans have you used half of the can and put it in the
Absolutely.
supermarket? I mean, in the refrigerator, turns black in a week, you throw it away.
Yep. There's nothing. I have said one of the evolutions that I think has changed the way I cook is a tube of tomato paste, of anchovy paste, all those kind of things. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And I'm sure, to your point, right? Things like you mentioned vinegar peppers, which I'm a huge vinegar pepper guy. I know you are too. I won't have a pork chop without them, actually. But people don't, because people aren't cooking like they used to, but they want to, right? There's an interest in cooking, and there's all of this stuff around it, but people don't kind of understand, like, if you go out into a store and you buy roasted peppers in a jar,
Right.
You're not making pork chops with vinegar peppers, with roasted peppers. It looks the same, it may have the same, but it's not the same.
Absolutely not.
And it's a gigantic difference in flavor and what your final product is. So giving people an opportunity to understand unique products make for unique foods, I think is...
the nuclear weapon of preservation is education.
Right. But with food, people have to taste things.
Sure, 100%.
I mean, things trend. I mean, you were talking about you can't eat pinoli's, different things. All those came from recipes or things that were in restaurants for a certain time. I used to work with Julia Child, and we used to always talk about this where, we took on pesto as it was starting to go on menus. For example, my Calabrian peppers. More and more recipes you're seeing with Calabrian peppers.
I noticed that in every
Most
restaurant.
people are like, what's a Calabrian pepper?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I can't explain it to you unless you taste it because it's got heat, but its flavor is magical. I mean, when I'm, sautéing garlic, I'll put a teaspoon of the Calabrian peppers in with it, and it's fantastic. You can throw your bagioli, your broccolini, whatever else you want in there. It's the flavor it throws is incredible.
I have noticed that on so many menus, even non-Italian places. You
Right.
go to like an American-style restaurant, and say like, or I went to a place, an Asian fusion place, and it said with Calabrian pepper oil or whatever the heck it was.
Right.
And I thought to myself, well, which is great because I love when Italy gets its due, but like it has become a thing now, and people. You know what else is becoming a thing? I'm noticing. What's this? The garum.
Oh, why are you doing this to me now?
It's the Roman fish sauce.
Colatura.
Colatura, the anchovy sauce that I guess it really is the proto Worcestershire sauce.
It's the runoff of the salting process
Yes.
of the anchovy.
Yeah,
It's like
ferment. It's a
fermented.
Roman recipe that was carried on in like 2 towns in southern Italy, and then maybe now they've discovered one in Spain. But people use this now, and it's the umami giver. And it's become this great big thing that people love. But yeah, these things take on a life of their own.
Absolutely.
I just want to say this because John's going to say I got to shut up and wrap up because I go too long. You have to go out and support these people, and you have to support this company. It's still an Italian-American owned family company. How many Italian-American companies get bought by big corporations? What's the other word you used?
Conglomerates?
Private equity.
Private
Private equity. They destroyed them. They destroyed the products. They destroyed the quality. They gut them out. Let's be honest. Let's look what happened to Stella d'Oro, right? That should be like the Pastene event. That should be like the
Documentary.
the train station.
Penn Station.
Penn Station. The full Penn Station. We see what happens. And the other thing is they are supporting the Fisherman's Feast, the Feast of Marona del Soccorso, right? That's how Sal put us together.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
In Boston, because they are supporting us. They are supporting the tribe. They are supporting their own people. And so many of these Italian products, we're not going to drop names, who are now owned by private equity or other corporations. The podcast or anyone else who calls them up for support, for advertising, for sponsorship, they don't return our phone calls because they're not members of the tribe. So when members of the tribe open up their wallets to support our activities, like the Fisherman's Feast, which is spectacular, and they're wonderful people.
Maybe I'll get there this year. I know.
Right,
I'm
shame
assuming
on you,
you're
John.
gonna go, right?
Yeah, we'll
August
go.
14th, 15th, 16th, 17th.
My birthday's the 17th.
August 17th is a special day.
That's right.
There you
I
go.
know you. Ferragosto 2 days earlier, but my birthday. Maybe I'll make it up.
Go to the stand, go there, support them, try their products, and become, because I don't want to say become patrons, because when you have the products, you'll be happy you did. And I rant and rave.
By the way, you mentioned our tribe and how great our listeners are. You mentioned earlier. I just want to point out a thank you to our listener Logan Brown. Sent us this fantastic collection of ephemera from an Italian American named Rino Tondelli, who was a jazz musician, an Italian American that he came across. He's a collector of Italian stuff and thought that this would be great in our hands here from Chicago. This is really, really cool. We mentioned the episode on Italian bands earlier, so thank you very much, Logan, for sending this stuff out and thinking of us and listening in detail and understanding why we care so much about this stuff and why we care so much about this stuff and understanding what goes into the tastes, the smells, the memories, and the culture of who we are. It's very, very important. I, for one, am excited about a traditional full olive oil. I'm going to be swapping this in for the extra virgin stuff that has overtaken the kitchen. I'm glad to learn about a 100-year-old taste, and I hope you're glad to learn about it too.
You didn't bring up the panettone incident.
Oh, what? When they sent the panettone, you ate them all?
No, there was 3 of them, and it was over Christmas. I wasn't going to get it to you in time.
That's
So you're lucky you're
time
here.
out.
You're lucky you're here.
Let me extend
Because
over.
this might have
I
disappeared.
don't want to ruin the closing of the episode, but I will say that's mythological because you brought one for us to share during recording. So,
But it was already dried out.
yeah, okay, it was delicious, it was fantastic. I don't know who the listener who sent us the most delicious panettones out there. But,
they opened up a new
I
bakery.
didn't get mine last year. Pat ate mine, so just so you know. But I got to sample the third on the episode. So let's
So I didn't want.
get your timeline correct.
I
before
didn't want
start
you to not
spreading
appreciate it.
You did, yeah. It was
Because you're going to
fantastic.
say this is dry.
That's
so
why.
I wanted to eat it.
For my sake, he ate the extra panettone.
He just opened up a bakery.
Well, we're gonna have to go.
Connecticut.
That-
We're going.
well, I will
2
be.
empty ShopRite bags.
I will be there, and I'm gonna ask Nicole maybe for my birthday gift if we can go to Boston. You're gonna go, right?
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, we'll make it work.
Well-
We're always going here and there.
Come out. Maybe you'll
John is
see
going
us.
to be giving samples.
Maybe
So
I'll
work
work the
the
booth.
stand.
If Mark will have me, I'll gladly work the booth. And,
Absolutely.
we look forward to seeing you there, Mark. If I can make it out, it'd be great. And I hope everybody else will be out
I
there.
know, Mark, you had a big loss 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I did. Thank you.
And you lost your brother. I know it's something, I'm sure it hurts a lot. We don't want to discuss on air because you went from a team to you.
Yes.
but we understand what you're going through, and we want to say whatever little we could do to dedicate this episode to appreciate the fact that you're captaining the ship now without your co-captain. So
Thank
we're
you very
very
much.
sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Nothing like family, and that comes right out of the pores of this gentleman and his company. So go out and support. We hope that you'll be at their booth at the feast in Boston. Maybe we'll see you there too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Born in Italian. If you want your life to be great, see that you're born in Italiano, and your life will be great. See that you're born in Italiano, and your life will be great.